In this video, I will try to explain how to read a research article published in the area of welding. Okay, so in any article related to welding, you could see the following context in a published paper. Okay, like abstract, introduction, and then materials and method, or it may be mentioned as experimental details, and then we'll be having results and discussion, and then finally conclusions. Okay, in some papers they might have mentioned the acknowledgements, so the author might have thanked the people who have helped them in completing the research work. Followed by that, we will be having references. So these are all the general headings which you could see in all the papers related to research. Okay, so now let's see what information will be generally available in each of the topic. So first one is abstract. So at the end of reading an abstract any article, you will find the following information. One is what is the objective of their research work. Okay, and then you will be knowing some of the important, not all the information, some information related to the experiments that they have conducted, and then you will be having information related to the major findings. Okay, so conclusions in a very short manner, the key findings from the research work. So these three information we can get after reading any abstract in an article, okay, related to welding. Okay, followed by that we will be having this introduction. So in introduction, what are the information we can get is that, suppose assume that the paper is related to laser welding of nickel based alloys. Okay, so this is the topic on which the authors have done their research work. Means, so in order to do the research work, they have to identify a problem so that they could give a solution for that problem. So those problems with respect to their topic can be seen in this introduction part. In addition to that, general information about the area in which they are working, about the material, about the process, can also be seen in the introduction part. At the end of the introduction part, they might have framed exactly what they are going to address in their research work. These are the key information that we can get from the introduction. Suppose what if you are working on nickel based alloys, let us say that it is Inconel 617. Let us say that the author has worked on Inconel 617. So in the introduction part, he might tell about some of the key properties related to Inconel 617. What are their applications, in which area they were mainly used, and then they will tell what is the need for welding, as it is related to welding. So they will tell what is the need for welding this material, and then followed by that they would discuss what are the processes through which the Inconel 617 has been welded till now, and they will discuss some of the already published literatures, okay, related to welding of 617. So they will discuss the conclusion part of the previously published articles. So, and they would also highlight the problems what the previous authors have faced in welding this 617. So likewise, they will build up their introduction part, and at the end of the introduction part, the reader of the article will have an idea what is the general problems that are present with respect to welding of 6 and 7. Okay, so once that part is over, at the end of the introduction part, that is the key part of an introduction, the authors would clearly mention how they are going to address the problems related to Inconel 6 and 7. Suppose if the major problem with respect to welding of inclinal 611 is solidification cracking. So I'm just telling one example. So they will tell at the end portion of the introduction how they are going to address the solidification crack formation in the welding of 617. What steps they are, what novel approach they are trying in their research work in order to prevent the solidification crack formation in the welding of 617. So this is what you will get from the introduction part. Followed by that, you will be having this materials and methods. So here you will be having all the experimental details. Okay, what are the procedures they have followed in order to conduct their experiments. Okay, and in addition to that, you will be seeing the information related to the testing standards that they have followed in order to assess the quality of the weld. Okay, for example, in this case they will discuss about the Inconel 617 sample size. Okay, material condition, chemical composition. So all information related to the material will be available. Means the researchers might have used a particular sample, right? In this case we have considered Inconel 6 and so on. So all the fundamental information related to Inconel 6 and so on will be available in the beginning part of the materials and methods. Okay, and then followed by that you will see the welding procedures. Okay, so what are the initial steps they have done in order to carry out the welding, whether they have done groove, what type of groove they have done, and will be knowing the details related to the welding machine, what welding process they have used, by using what machine they have carried out that welding process. And you will be also provided with the information of filler wires, what are the dimensions, what are the shielding gases they have used. All these kind of experimental information related to the welding will be available. And the authors might have also mentioned the input parameters that they have considered for carrying out their research work. They will discuss the levels or ranges, what are the ranges of all the input parameters, and the authors might tell based on what design of experiment concepts they have carried out their welding process. It may be Takuji method or Takuji or central composite design or box beacon method. So there are a number of design of experiments approach are there. So in their work they might have followed some of the any one of the method. That details also will be available in the materials and method portion. Okay, followed by that you will be seeing the details related to the testing procedures. Okay, see for example, generally once they are conducting welding trial, in order to check the quality of the weld, they will measure the following details. Like first one is they will get information related to macro structure, where you will be knowing the details of depth of penetration, bead width, and then microstructural studies they might have done. Microstructural studies they might have done using optical microscope, scanning electron microscope, EDS analysis, and then XRD, and then you will be TEM, and then you will be having information related to EBST. So these are all some of the metallurgical studies. Generally it is done on the welded samples to get information related to the metallurgical aspects of the weld. Okay, so in this materials and method portion you get information related to the make of the optical microscope they have used, SIM make, EDS make, all those machines information will be available in the introduction part. And generally they will study mechanical and corrosion properties after welding. So how they have conducted the mechanical property analysis. For example, if they have done tensile test means what is the standard they have, ASTM standard they have followed, what is the sample size they have considered in their work. Those information will also be available with respect to the materials and method section. And if they have done harness, what is the procedure and what is the standard, okay, how much load they have applied, whether they have done Vickers harness test or a Brennan harness test, all those information will be available. And with respect to corrosion, they will also have the standard and what are the solutions they have considered in order to do the corrosion test. So these kind of general information related to the testing part also will be available in the materials and method portion. Okay, so generally these portion relate to the quality aspects of the weld. Okay, so these are all the quality aspects of the weld, and this portion, that is metallurgical studies, what it is done, why it is done, so we will try to justify the quality aspects with the help of metallurgical studies. Okay, so once you have done the welding, if you are getting better properties in your weld, we have to justify the reason for the better properties in the weld with the help of microstructural studies. So you'll get all those information at microscopic level with the help of the following techniques. Okay, so these are all the information that you could get from the materials and methods section. Followed by that, we'll be having results and discussion. So results and discussion. So what are the results you have got through this welding trial? For example, in this materials and method portion itself, they have mentioned they have done tensile test, hardness and corrosion. Okay, so they might have reported all the results related to the tensile strength, hardness and corrosion in this section. Okay, and they would have discussed in the discussion part. Okay, so they will use these metallurgical studies like SEM, EDS, XRD. So they will use these metallurgical studies to justify the variation in the tensile strength, hardness, corrosion after welding. Okay, so it is like a justification study. Okay, generally in a optical microscope you will be getting information related to the microstructure. You will take microstructural images where you can get information related to grain size, shape of the grains. Okay, and then you will get information related to the phases present. So these information we can get through the optical microscope microstructure. The same information will be obtained from SIM analysis also, but at a higher resolution. Okay, and higher magnification also. Same grain shape, grain size, what are the phases present. And with respect to EDS, energy dispersion spectroscopy, you get an idea about the chemical composition. Chemical composition in a particular area. Okay, that information can be obtained through EDS, and XRD also can be done to get information related to the phases that are present in the weld. Any secondary phases that have formed, we can confirm that through this XRD analysis, and we can get information related to full width, half maximum, which gives an idea about the residual stresses present in the weld and crystal sizes. So all this information we get in an XRD. And then TEM also we will do in order to get an idea about the dislocation, density, presence, and what are the secondary phases. We can just confirm those secondary phases through this TEM analysis with a better clarity. We get an idea. We can do the indexing also to confirm that this is the secondary phase that is present in the weld through TEM analysis. And EBSD also we can do, and these are all the general information we will get as in SIM. We can get the grain size. Here also we can get information related to grain misorientation angle, and then we can get information from pole figure and inverse pole figure. So these are all the general points that will be considered in order to justify the property variation. Okay, so through this metallurgical study we can come to a conclusion why tensile strength is getting varied once you do this particular process, and we can correlate with respect to the parameters also. And you might have got at a particular parameter combination better strength. Okay, so what happened at a microstructure level can be justified with the help of these kind of metallurgical studies. So the first they would have reported the results, and then they would have correlated the results with the help of these metallurgical studies. Okay, so and then after results and discussion, they will come to conclusion part, which discusses the major findings from their research work. Okay, and then we will be having acknowledgement that will be related to the means they will just the authors might have thanked the people who have helped in conducting their research work, and finally the references which they have referred in order to conduct their research work. Okay, one more thing I forgot to tell in this materials and method here, in order to do these metallurgical studies, the authors might have followed some sample preparation. What are the steps they have followed in order to prepare the sample for all these metallurgical studies also would have been discussed in the materials and method portion. Okay, so this is a simple idea related to any research article published. Okay, so basically we have abstract where you get objective, experimental details, conclusion in a very short manner. In the introduction you get information related to the material, what are their applications, what are their properties, and what is the need to do welding in that on material. And we will be having conclusion from the previous published literatures, what are the problems reported by those authors in this introduction part. For that particular problem, how the authors are giving solution in this research work, you could see at the end of the introduction part. Then you will be having materials and method, where you will be having the information related to the experimental details, both related to the material as well as the welding procedure, testing procedure. And in the results and discussion part, here they would have reported the test results, and they might have justified the variation in the property with the help of the metallurgical studies. So not all the metallurgical studies could be done in a single paper. Some others might have done only TEM, some might have done EBST, some might have done only XRD. So it depends upon the author. So other than this also some metallurgical studies are there. I have just given some sample, some examples. Okay, then you have conclusion where you can just see the major findings from their research article, and then acknowledgement, references. Okay, so this is a simple idea. How to infer information from a published article related to welding, so that you can get started with the respective research work. Like this, if you read like 10 to 20, 100 articles, you get an idea what is the current trend with respect to a particular topic, what are the problems faced in that particular topic, what solution you can do by adapting some novel approaches. That is what you can do by reading literatures with respect to a specific topic. Okay, hope it is useful. Thank you.